We decided that if she didn't have a baby that we just would have left her, but we didn't want to take the risk of the baby suffering, so we decided to try to help her out. But instead of us going to her, we called her to come back to us, and then upon her reaching us would be when we would let her use one of our cell phones. At this point, we didn't have our rifles trained on her. She was holding a baby after all, but we were holding them low to conceal them, but still have them ready. She started to take a few steps towards us, but she stopped and asked if she would be safe with us. We told her, "You'll be safe to come to us. You can see that we have women and children in our group." She took about 2 more steps towards us and then suddenly dropped the baby and began running into the cornfield. When the baby dropped, the mothers in our group screamed in horror, but it became pretty evident that it was a baby doll once it bounced on the pavement on the road. As soon as the girl disappeared into the brush on the side of the road, we heard about 5 or 6 gunshots that were directed at us come from the area that she had disappeared into. So we immediately started getting out of there, and all the passengers started shooting towards the direction of the gunfire where the girl had disappeared into the brush at. As we were getting out of there as fast as we could, we radioed to each other to check on each other. It was only about 5 or 6 shots that were fired at us from quite a distance, but we wanted to make sure everyone was all right as soon as possible. When we got a mile or 2 away, we stopped to check our vehicles. We found 1 bullet hole in one of the retreat members' vehicle. The round had entered the rear quarter panel of his truck and was now probably lodged somewhere in the supplies that he had in the bed of his truck. Luckily, just luckily, we didn't suffer any casualties, nor flat tires, nor shot up radiators, or anything that would disable one of our vehicles. Once we debriefed, we decided that we wouldn't stop for any more stranded motorists, and if we saw anything that even appeared that it could be a possible ambush, that we would just simply stop and turn around and find a different route to take. We knew that we were lucky that we played it smart. We knew that if we had went to her like so many other people would have, that we would have been closer to whoever took shots at us. And while we may have prevailed in that gunfight, the chances of us suffering a casualty would have been much higher. Points to consider. If we run into lawlessness, have you trained yourself to know when you should or should not shoot? Are you prepared for the fact that other people who lack the proper training may use excessive force and cause friction between people in the community? If that neighbor who was quick to fire upon an unknown target, if he had shot an innocent person or a neighbor, could that have caused a divide within the neighborhood and possibly caused more bloodshed between neighbors? And if you are banded with others for self-protection of your community, will you hold briefings to go over potential issues, such as giving a warning to each other prior to taking any actions if possible? If you have a bug-out location or a retreat, have you planned alternate routes to that location? Does your retreat group have radio communications? Would you be able to communicate with them if you're in separate vehicles so that you can receive information and make decisions on the go? Are you prepared that if you are en route to your retreat location, that criminals may try to use things that will pull at your heartstrings to get you to stop so that they can ambush you? Do you try to think outside of the box? Many people who don't train or who are too trusting would have approached this female instead of calling her back to them or just leaving the area. In this situation, the criminals were counting on our group to act as a normal person would, which would have been to approach her. And when we didn't, it made them to come up with an alternate hasty plan that did not work out for them.